Hey guys, Chris here from Chris and G Travels. Today we are going to be talking about mobile incomes and basically running small businesses so you're able to live on the road. And today we have a guest who actually is in a very interesting position because she already has a social presence, actually a pretty large social presence on Instagram and developing other channels. So I figured it'd be good to share this with all of you so you have a little bit of an idea of how I do things and also how she does things. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Emily Abbott and I am a CrossFitter, and I've been in the CrossFit world for about 5 years now and have traveled the world, competed in all different kinds of places, and I'm just now transitioning, my fiance and I are transitioning into more of a minimalist style lifestyle, and we want to figure out how to make e-commerce or an online income so that we can go explore the world and have an adventure. So yeah, that's why I got in contact with Chris here and over Craigslist randomly.
Yeah.
And it's crazy what the universe brings into your life. And so this is really cool that I'm getting to basically it's an information gathering time. So it'll be really interesting to see what I can glean from all of your experience.
Absolutely. So I'm not a professional by any means, but I know what's worked for me. And, I love to give out information to people wanting to live this life because we're in a very interesting position in human history where this is the first time where mass adoption of mobile incomes is starting to just spread everywhere within the United States and North America, really. But we met through Craigslist because I posted the Class A RV. Atlas is all you know from the channel, the RV we lived in for the last 3 years. And talking about the RV, I think you asked some very simple questions about the RV, and I kind of went off a little bit about all the different aspects in mobile businesses because I really do love this lifestyle, and I really try and be a huge proponent for people that really pursue it because once you're out there, boondocking or living remotely, just being able to wake up and see new scenes every day and be able to live the life you want to, it's just absolutely addicting, and you just want it for other people. So, just in terms of where you're at now, so just touching base, you said you were in CrossFit for 5 years. How have you been making an income traditionally? Have you been working and then CrossFit's been like a side project for you, or how's that been working?
Well, basically, what happened was I started working at a CrossFit gym. I started training to make the CrossFit Games. So I was managing a gym. I was doing personal training. I was coaching classes. So that was I was at the gym basically 12 hours a day.
Wow.
And then once I qualified for the games a couple times and started, showing people my personality, kind of getting out there, showing up at all the major competitions, I started to get some notice from sponsors, from brands.
Oh, fantastic.
To promote their brand, basically. So I traditionally, and it was only within the last year that I was able to just go start training full time, which is the dream. I was making money from sponsorships on a salary basis. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but it's a very cutthroat industry as well, right? Because if you're not performing, or if you're not the best, which is basically the top 10 in the world, I'm around the top 20 mark. You're not going to get the same amount of recognition. Okay. So it's very cutthroat. Sponsors will drop you like that. You really have to work at building a relationship.
Business. It's the way it is.
Yeah, it's business. Exactly. So there's no hard feelings, but some sponsors are better than others. Some kind of believe in you and what you're trying to do and what, they think maybe more outside of the CrossFit up and comers, and I'm 28 years old, and so I get it. But also it's been interesting because I've had to learn how to negotiate my own contracts, go after other sponsors, make connections, network, and it's all about who you know and developing relationships with people. So it's been a really interesting world to be a part of.
Absolutely. So it sounds as though you have the hustle part of it already built into you from your experience, negotiating contracts, realizing that you have to be a little different. You have to show up and actually perform to, live that lifestyle that you want to do. Because with the way that I've done it is about 5 years as well with the YouTube thing. So when I first started the YouTube channel, I made like 75 cents the first month and $1.50 the second month. You know, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Like I was able to make money off posting videos online, and it's just matured over time and, you know, developed steam. So it's the same thing in terms of you start out kind of small and then you just have to work your way up with the YouTube. And I mean, the thing is, I don't know how your sponsors work or if it's something that you could do. I mean, this is just off the top of my head. Have you thought about doing any type of travel work? Like if you get the RV, is there a way you can go from gym to gym and do private sessions and, you know, get clients that way? Is that something that's within the CrossFit world?
For sure. That's a fabulous idea. And I think there is definitely a space for kind of like the weirder CrossFitter. Like you don't necessarily need to be the best, but people do want to see like what your life is about, what it's like on a daily basis. And there's some really successful like CrossFit chicks, obviously chicks, who have created like these YouTube channels, and you know, people just love it because they get to see like what they do on a daily basis. So I definitely think that's a great idea, like kind of traveling around. I kind of what you guys do, but maybe more geared towards like the CrossFit individual.
Absolutely.
And spreading information that way. But I love how you guys incorporate like how you work out, how you eat well on the road. Like I think there is people are wanting to see what kind of life you lead that way. So.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Like the biggest thing that I've learned is the niche, right? Finding something like you're not trying to get everybody. You're trying to find the particular group of people. There's an amazing article. It's either called 100 True Fans or 1,000 True Fans. And it really changed the way that I viewed YouTube, because people that watch this channel for a while know at a certain point I was trying to please everybody, and it drove me absolutely insane. Like not that people had bad opinions or, you know, what they were saying was true, but I really got away from who I was and what I wanted to create. And it literally, you know, I'm not exaggerating, it made it hell to log on to YouTube and look at comments and try and maneuver everything. And with throughout this last year, I had a little bit of a realization where I just kind of broke it down and like, hey, I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to figure out what I really want to do with this channel. And this last year of posting, YouTube became fun again. And oddly enough, I made more this year by a large percentage than I ever did on YouTube ever, right? So I actually split up my channel. I went to a niche of the tiny homes. And then I went to the niche of the people that actually wanted to watch our travels. Like people that want to watch us build this bus, they want to watch us get the RV ready to sell. Like they're actually interested in us. And I separated the two, and I separated the niches, right? And then that's what made me happy. And it seems like the people that are viewing make it more happy. So going back to what you're thinking about doing, if you had a niche of travel around in an RV, I don't think anybody's doing the CrossFit thing. I don't think they're actually showing the competitions, like, because you can get a following of, you know, people that already on your Instagram, people that already follow you organically that you already have. Then you can have people that are interested in the RV travel, living healthy, and also wanting to get in shape. You know, so you could tie that all in where it's not just about the RV travel, it's about you competing. It's about the regiments that you do, you know, just finding that niche where people want to be a part of that and understand that. And then that could branch off into going to different gyms, right? If you start getting some momentum that way, say you're going into Tucson, you can send them a link to your channel, like, hey, this is what I do. I'll do a private session at your gym. People from the channel can come in, because that way the gym gets people coming into the gym. And then you get to meet people that are following you on social media. And, you know, you can show them the workouts that you do. And this is just off the top of my head. But it seems like you're in such a unique situation that you already built something. Maybe that should be the niche that you kind of gravitate towards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I was actually going to ask you why you did like split those two channels, but now that you explain it, that does make a ton of sense. And it is hard. Like even I started, my man and I started a YouTube channel, and it's so hard mentally, even with my experience on Instagram, to block out comments, because when you start creating again, you're like, oh my God, that one person who said that one thing.
Well, there'll be 99
It's
positive.
just like
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be 99 positive comments with that one negative, and then you concentrate on that. And that's what I was going through. But like you develop a thick skin, like that always bothers you a little bit. But when it comes down to it, you really start to concentrate on the 99 positive. You know what I mean? Like when you start seeing people that you comment back and forth with. I mean, there's people I still comment back and forth with from when I was living in my camper van next to my friend's house in Arizona, like 5 years ago. And I know their avatar, like I've talked to them for years. You know what I mean? So I've been concentrating on those people. Like whenever I get a negative comment,
right.
you know, it's just like, I just, you know, delete it or whatever. And then I'll just, you know, make sure I comment with the people I've talked to for a while. It's a balance. It's hard. It really is. It's not easy.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's why it isn't easy. And I think people get really intimidated. And there's like a ton of self-doubt, and have felt that like a couple of times, like, oh my God, like what am I doing? Yeah. I don't know if you've ever felt that. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, sometimes people. I mean, a lot of the people that write the negative comments, they have a lot going on in their life. You know, like they're profoundly sad people a lot of times, and they just like to bring people down. They like to, you know, how crab pots work. You know, the other crabs pull the other crabs down so nobody can get out. They love their misery, so.
Yeah, it's true. So I think like the biggest thing I think I'm struggling right now is like, how am I going to add value to people's lives? So like right now, people are interested in my Instagram and whatnot because I'm competing, but like obviously that's not going to last forever. So how am I going to transition into something that adds value to people's lives where there's still a high level of interest?
Well, what brings you the most value in your life? Let me ask you that. Like, is the working out valuable to you because you feel great in the morning when you wake up because you're healthy? Is it because you like to eat healthy? Like, what brings the most value in your life?
Definitely, like living optimally and like really becoming more self-aware and like growing that way and constantly learning. So, and eating really well. So I like to be the best possible me. So, I would try to, on my YouTube channel or Instagram, try to impart that wisdom or the things that I'm going through and be as authentic as possible with like the people that are following me.
That's how you can add value. I mean, that essentially what I had to do, what took me a couple of years to figure out was just ask that question, like, what brings value in my life? What do I want to share? And then just try and show that on the channel. Like this bus build, people have been watching me since, again, I got that first camper van. They saw it when I got the Class A. When I first got it, I had no idea how to fix anything on it. I was just like a lost little puppy dog out in the woods, just like I don't know what I'm going to do. To getting to this point, and I think the value that I've shown people overall is that if you have something in your mind and you really want to do it, you got to listen to that. And that's been the constant throughout the channel with all the traveling, with the bus build, with going up to Alaska every summer. You know, I think that's the value that people get from my channel. And I really had to sit down and ask myself, like, what value am I giving and what value will I feel good about putting out there, you know? So, I mean, if that's how you're able to do it and provide value to the people that view your channel by eating healthy, showing them the competitive life, showing them how to stay in shape on the road, how to eat healthy on the road, if that's the value you want to go after and it resonates with you, I think that's the most important part. Because you got to provide value. That's number one, but it also has to be value that you intrinsically believe. You know, you can't just throw it up there and be like,
yes.
I feel like people will value this. You gotta find that balance between what you believe and what you think will be valuable to other people. Because otherwise, you're just going to be building a house on sand.
You must have, at least on my end, I've told my family and friends, I'm like, I want to live this minimalist like RV life, and I have experienced a little bit of resistance. And I was just wondering what when you started out on this journey, like, did you experience a lot of pushback from like even society being like, dude, you're crazy, like starting a YouTube channel, online business, living in an RV, like that's not normal, you know?
Yeah, well, my very first little foray into this whole traveling life was when I graduated college. I bought a van off of eBay and converted it into a camper, and that was back in 2008, early 2009. and that was before hashtag van life and everything. So people thought I was absolutely nuts. Like nobody was putting that online. So that was the first pushback, right? Like I remember the instant I thought about it and it became a reality. Like I'm going to do this. I was working at TGI Fridays in my college town just for some extra college, like some money for college. And I went up to one of the other servers there. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a van and start just traveling the U.S. with my dog. She's like, you're weird, and just like walked away. You know, and I told my grandparents and my friends, and they thought it was cool and weird all at the same time. But since then, I've been updating vehicles. You know what I mean? So it's been normal for me. But way back in the day, absolutely, I got pushed back. And again, that was before I could monetize on YouTube, before any of that started. So that was a little bit of a different situation because there was no mobile incomes that I knew about. I would just work really, really hard, save up $500 or $600, and hope I could make it back home. Was essentially how I did that. And so now it's just been a progression. So it's just been normal. Like I honestly, like building this, I honestly don't want to live anywhere but here for the next 10 to 15 years. And that's the way I'm
wow.
building it. Like I'm 100% set on this mobile lifestyle. Like there's nothing better that I've ever done in my entire life. So
that's crazy. It makes me so excited.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, like whether you get our rig or you decide to get another one, like whatever you do, make sure you do it because it's an amazing lifestyle.
So I was seeing one of your YouTube channels, that dealership, and they gave you some kind of like sponsorship to like promote their dealership.
Right. So that actually didn't follow through because when I picked up the RV, they didn't fix a lot of stuff that they said they were going to. So I essentially said, like, I'm not going to work with you. But that is a possibility. You know, like there is another traveling couple that I met up in Alaska where they didn't get an RV and they didn't get a sponsorship. What they got was an RV for a couple weeks. They got a hold of the city council, I think it's called, or the tourist bureau, and they got hooked up with an RV and just did videos around the area. So people are really starting to, you know, realize the importance of having bloggers out there, and I've seen people, you know, partner up with other dealerships as well. And that might be something you look into just with your social presence already, or maybe find a gym. You know, if somebody's an entrepreneur enough to where they have a gym and an RV dealership and they really understand what you're doing, you know, and really understand the importance of having that advertising out there for what doesn't really cost them that much. You know, that's definitely something to look into.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what I love. Like, I love talking to people who have a different way of looking at things and different way of thinking about these issues and problems, like how we can approach it. Because, like, you can get so creative when you're trying to get something done. Like, okay, well, how am I gonna use this? What can I leverage? And so that's why it's so great to, like, when I got on the phone with you and you're like, oh yeah, we lived in it for 3 years. I was just like, what? And then you're like, oh yeah, we have an online business. I was like, what? This is like everything I'm trying to create. So it's super cool and super inspiring to meet people like yourself.
No, you too. I mean, you're out there doing the same thing. Like, you're just in the beginning stages of it, like being able to build a brand and be able to leverage that to live the lifestyle you want. I mean, that's the dream of our generation, right? Like, having all this technology and all these tools to live a different life than any other sapien has ever lived in the history of our species. There has never been, you know, the opportunity to work mobily like this and actually make a decent amount of money, right? Like, how many people it's lived has been able to build a house out of something like this and just do it yourself and learn along the way and, like, hire friends to come in and help, like put them on a aluminum canister and fly them across the country to come out and help you. Like, we live in amazing times, right? And you just have to be able to see that and take advantage of it and, you know, make things happen.
Right. Now, the other thing I was going to ask you is, I saw that you have, like, need something on Amazon, and then you have a link. Mm-hmm. Do you want in a little bit, like, what that is?
Yeah, so that's the Amazon affiliate program. That's a good way to make a nice little residual piece of income. Some people absolutely kill it with that. I do all right with that. It basically buys, I do the ketogenic diet, so that basically buys my MCT and my endogenous ketones. as well as an RV part or two, some cutting wheels or something. So it's a decent amount of money per month. And the way that works is, say that we'll do it this way. Okay, so with the Amazon affiliate program, say these headphones right here, not headphones, but earmuffs whenever I'm cutting. Say I use these, they're awesome, they cost $30. So I can mention it on the video, and then I will put a link. I'll mention hey, there's a Amazon link down in the description if you do want to order these. If somebody goes to Amazon, orders these, I get actually I don't know what the percentage is now, they switched it up, but you get a percentage of that sale, right? So say if you have a whole catalog, say for you in the fitness world, you have your ketones, you have your MCT oil, you have your protein, you have your pre-workout. You can actually make content from that. Put the link in Amazon down below, and you could possibly get that product for free sent to you, and then you test it, and then it's a cycle. Does that make sense? Yeah,
actually, that's something that a lot of companies do. Like I've had experience with on Instagram.
Absolutely.
I just didn't, but it's probably more limiting because like I couldn't create, like on Amazon you can get anything, so you could probably create like a bunch of different things.
Absolutely.
Or do you have to go to each company separately and talk to them about an Amazon affiliate program?
No, so Amazon affiliate is you just go on there and say like you get a yellow stripe is what it's called, like when you enter their program. You can search for anything in Amazon and you can get that link from there. So it can be anything from car tires to protein powder to hot tubs. You just copy that link, put it in your description, and anytime somebody clicks that link and buys something from that link, you get a percentage of that.
Cool. Have you ever thought about creating like your own product or your own like RV? I don't know.
Not really. People do that. I mean, there's actually people starting businesses right now that are Amazon rebuy. They're rebranding. So they'll buy a crate of a certain widget from China at Alibaba, and they'll slap their own sticker on it and then sell it on Amazon or sell it in a store. People do that all the time. But for me, being that I'm mobile all the time, I don't want to have that overhead. I don't want to have to deal with that. I want to be mobile 100%. So I've concentrated on other businesses that are 100% mobile, that I don't have to have an overhead. I don't have to do any shipping. The business that I have now, I don't have overhead like the parts business, because it's something called drop shipping, where I just forward them an invoice and then that company sends it out.
Right. Okay. And with your YouTube channel, sorry, I have so many questions, but with your YouTube channel, would you say like you created steady growth just by consistently making videos, like always putting, like, would you say you put out a video every couple of days or weekly, or what was like your goal with that?
I've done daily, I've done weekly, I'm off this thing for 3 months. I've done the whole thing. Now I'm on weekly pretty much. With the bus build, I do a little bit more, but I found once a week is typically, the farthest you want to go, because as more bloggers, as more people get out there, there's just more and more voices like, hey, come here, listen to me, and we're just absolutely incredibly blessed. I'm still blown away by it. Like, about every video that we put up gets, 8 to 10,000 views within the first couple of weeks. It's just, and I think it really is just people that have been following us for so long and they've seen the journey. Like, they're still interested whenever I post a video about this bus. Like, they remember me living in a van outside of my friend's house, and now I'm building this. You know what I mean? So it's more of like an ongoing thing where they're wanting to catch up with us and see what's happening. And if I post weekly, it really does help with that. You know what I mean? So, but if you're just getting started, once a week, and then promoting through your Instagram, because your Instagram's your most powerful social channel, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, something where you just take a snapshot from the video, or you mention there's a video up on your Instagram, and just continuously, pushing traffic towards there, if that's something that you wanted to do. I mean, just an idea. But yeah, I mean, if just starting out, the short answer to that very long way that I answered that is, if I were you in your situation, I would post weekly on a set day at a set time, and then also link that to your Instagram so people can, start going over there.
Right. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Man, you're living the dream.
Well, you are too. You're traveling the world doing something you love.
Yeah. And I'm just really trying to think about the future, and I'm tired of renting, and so like the next big step, I guess, is purchasing the RV, which is like super scary to me because like you said, I watched some of your videos. You're like, we purchased this, and I still would have done things differently, and you see a bunch of videos of people basically saying that you're always going to kind of get the shit end of the stick. It kind of seems like when you buy something.
It depends.
Secondhand?
It depends. So what I'd say with that is, I was the direct opposite of you when I bought the RV, where I was not scared at all. I was just ready to get it on. You know what I mean? Like I knew what was waiting for me out there because I had the van beforehand. I had 2 vans before I had the RV, right? So I knew what I was getting myself into in terms of the road and how awesome it was going to be, and having a stove and a stand-up shower and a water tank. I was like, this is going to be amazing. So I wasn't scared about that. The thing that I wasn't prepared for the RV was the depreciation, and then also having to fix stuff. But that, really, the depreciation was just my ignorance with financial matters, But if I had to go back, I wouldn't do anything different, because having that RV has built my businesses, it's built the YouTube channels, and we've been able to travel more places and experience more things than most people honestly do in their entire life. I honestly do believe that. Like, it's been amazing having that RV. But when it comes down to, always degrading a little bit when you buy something, I mean, that's part of all RVs. All RVs depreciate. That's one thing that you have to kind of throw out there, where you can either rent and throw your money away, or you can get a rig and it depreciates a little bit. And for me, I would 110% pick the latter, because you're able to be mobile, and you're like, for us, like building online platforms, businesses, right? Like, the only way to really do that, if you're going to be mobile, is to get the RV. There's no way around it, right? You got to be mobile somehow, and you're not going to be living out of a Honda Accord. So
that's right. Yeah. Okay. And what would you say, like, what was your budget going in for your first RV?
Budget-wise, like how much I could afford?
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't really think about the budget. I thought about what I wanted in a rig. And again, that goes back to my ignorance of financial matters. It was more of like, hey, life's short, I'm going to make this happen. So my criteria was more of a 30 to 32 foot RV, something that, because the reason why I like the size of our RV now, say if we go to Costco, we don't need 3 spots. We can park from the front of the RV to the back of the RV, will fit in 2 parking spots. So we didn't have to have massive parking, and it was small enough to where, we can get in and out of places, but it was big enough for the solar up top, big enough to hold the water, big enough for us to get that slide, because it has a full body slide. So the slide goes from the back driver's seat back to the bedroom, so the whole thing comes out. So it literally becomes like a small apartment. So whenever we park somewhere, if we are boondocking or whatever, we can literally get that slide out, put the leveling jacks down, and we literally have our apartment in this new spot, and we're set for a week or week and a half. And that was the criteria I was looking at. Like, and that's all I cared about. The money didn't matter. I was going to make it work. I still have great credit because I traveled all the time, spent a lot of money, and then paid everything off. So getting a loan for the RV was not an issue.
I see. Okay. Now, what are your thoughts on, because we just recently looked at a Class C RV, this owner named Margie, and it was pretty immaculate, a Jayco.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts? Like, I've seen a lot of videos too on YouTube explaining how like Class C's are better than a Class A.
Well, there is definitely a lot of confirmation bias out there. I think if you go for videos that say Class A is better than Class C, or fifth wheel is better than Class A, or Class C is better than Class A, like you're going to find all of them. To be honest, I have no experience with Class C, and I haven't spent much time in them. But I do know people that do have them. They enjoy them. A friend of mine is building a small Class C right now to take down to Columbia, and he's going through the whole thing and redoing it and building it up. And I mean, he got that. And what I'm getting at is he got that because it's smaller. He's able to go on the South American roads. It's not as wide. And it's a little bit shorter.
Right.
But in build quality, I have no personal reference. I can't tell you one way or the other. But I do see how it might be easier to work on the engine, possibly, with the Class E because it's out front. But at the same time, with the Class A, you have the doghouse you can lift up and the whole engine's right there. So it's pros and cons. Like, I'm sure if people watch this, there's going to be a lot of comments in the description of people arguing one way or the other.
All right.
It just goes back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. And was there any time when you were in the RV and you're just like, I've made a terrible mistake, or just had a really shit day?
Not for me. G maybe. She's
yeah.
So I'm the ultimate optimist, essentially. Whenever something bad happens, I just listen, it could be worse because of this. I'm still, because I've had the points where I've questioned myself on the road, both financially and mentally. But looking back, there's some of my most favorite moments on the road, and that's no exaggeration. There's been times where I've been broke down on the side of the road, all flustered, angry, sweating, and then I sit down in the middle of it, on the side of an interstate, and I look up, and it's outside of the city in the middle of nowhere, and the stars are just absolutely beautiful. That. I've had my lessons on the road. I know how blessed I am to be on the road, and I shouldn't whine about anything because I'm in the situation I'm in. So with the Class A, absolutely not. I already went past that point. I already graduated onto, being optimistic about things. So Class A, no. I mean, there's been times where things have broke with it, where I'm just really, this is happening. But for example, a lot of Class A's have a wraparound glass shower they're just not built that well, and it fell off. I was like, screw it. I just threw it out, and then I got a shower curtain and a shower rod, and now it's so much better. And people delete them all the time. You can either be upset about it, or you can find better ways to do it. So
right.
And you'll find that out. Whatever rig you get, you'll have days that are this is I can't believe we did this, and then once you learn how to fix the rig, work on the rig, know how things work on it, and you'll look back at those times and just laugh and be like, yeah, we had to learn that lesson.
And has your relationship totally improved with your girlfriend? Because you're in a small space, it's your dog, your girl, and, probably some really stressful situations.
Well, again, I think it goes back to, she gets a little bit more flustered about things. I'm more of hey, chill out. Everything's okay. I will put it this way. It is harder being stopped in one spot than being on the road. If that makes any sense. And I mean stopped for a month or two at a time. Say if we're building this or whatever. When we're actually traveling, it's a lot easier because we're out enjoying the road. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right, I see what you're saying. So you guys are a bit more of a restless souls.
Yeah. I can definitely say that because we're up in Alaska during the summer, and we won't be this year because we're building this. But when it comes down to being in one spot, I'm totally fine with being in Alaska for 5 months. But if we're down in the lower 48 and we're somewhere for 2 or 3 weeks, I'm man, let's go. That other place is just down the road, 50 miles. Come on,
right.
Let's do it. Because whenever we do set up, it's amazing. I get to a new spot, get the slide out, jacks and everything. We have our water tank full. We have all our food. And we literally just hike, run, explore that local area. We have the tow car. We can go into town. We can go on different trails. But once we've done all that, it's okay, now let's see what's down the road, because it's just 50 miles away, and it's this whole new place we can go explore. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Now, I was going to ask, but with your dog, let's say it's a super hot, because I have a dog up in Canada that I want to bring down real soon. And when it's a super hot day, what do you do with your dog? Let's say you guys are out, you want to explore something that the dog necessarily can't come along with. Or how did you guys manage that whole situation?
We don't go to where it's hot.
Oh, okay. That's so simple.
We just follow the seasons. Like when it gets too hot here to work on the bus, we're going to be moving up to, we're going to be either moving to California to work on it or Indiana. I mean, it'll still be warm in Indiana, but we'll be next to my aunt's house who has a giant house and AC, so we'll just let Kobach hang out inside. And then once the bus is done enough to live in, we'll probably head up to North Dakota, Montana, where, and then just keep doing that rotation, just back and forth.
Okay. Interesting. Man, what a life. I bet you've met some really, strange people, too, huh?
I've met some amazing people. I guess I'm pretty strange myself, but I've met, so I just, one of the guys that did a roof raise, this bus is raised, you can see it right there, how it's 21 inches taller. He was one of the reasons why I raised the roof. He's one who's yeah, dude, you can totally do it. And I met him through the channel, and he actually started doing his bus because he was watching our RV video. So there's this reciprocal thing, this crazy thing. But I just bought his plane tickets, and he's coming out here for a week, and we're going to do a bunch of custom work to the bus. I've met people that have just expanded my mind so much. And from the channel as well, I've met people, 2 people, 3 people really in particular that have become mentors to me. People that are incredibly successful in business, people that are just incredibly intelligent. If I have a business plan, if I have an idea that I just want to mull around with them, they can give me insights that I had no idea because they have decades of experience in business, right? And they're people that I consider friends. They're just incredibly knowledgeable. So I've actually gained some really amazing friendships because you meet people that are like-minded, that like to do stuff like this, really open-minded, and willing to go out there and experience new things. So I've actually experienced the opposite. I've met some amazing people.
That's really cool. Really cool. Well, I don't know if I have any more questions, but I guess my biggest thing is I really think I need to sit down and when you sat down and started creating content for your YouTube, did you have an overall plan, a vision, or was it just no, this is what interests me this week, I'm going to explain it, throw it up there, keep going with it?
Absolutely. If you're on Instagram, I'm sure you see it all the time. The very delicate, put together photos that have everything perfect in the lighting and they're smiling and everything's 100% perfect, and they're not really showing the true reality of the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I try and look at that, and I try and do the opposite, right? And it's not so much as a marketing. It's not something that I, make a goal to do all the time, really. It's just when I see it, I'm okay, so that's what I want to avoid. So whatever I'm doing that day, I film. I don't do anything out of the ordinary. I don't set up anything special. It's hey, if I'm welding a new window today, I put the camera up, and I let it roll, and then I get the job done, and I go back and edit it the way that I want. So when it comes to making content, I just show what's happening. I don't exaggerate anything. I don't do anything out of the ordinary, and I don't have any plans really. It's whatever raw footage comes back to me that I edit, and the mood that I'm in while I'm editing. I might be in get this done quick mood, or I might be okay, let's play with this a little bit. Let's play with the angles. Let's play with the cuts. It's just all conditional. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah, I've got a lot more organic than, super thought out. It's just, I appreciate that more. I think viewers appreciate that more as well. And I guess another question that's a little bit more shallow I was going to ask was, how long did it take for your YouTube channel to get to a point where you actually were making something substantial to live off of?
Well, I'll put it this way. The channel still is not to the point where I can live off of it, right?
Okay.
So, if we were not building a bus, if we just stayed in the Class A, then yes, it might be enough to live off of, because once you actually get the rig and you're on the road, you're not spending that much money. Unless when we go up to Alaska, we spend a lot of money going through Canada. As you know, gas in Canada isn't that great, and these RVs don't exactly get 30 miles to the gallon. So with that in mind, being that we've been going to back in Alaska back and forth each year, we have been spending a little bit more on gas. But when we're in the lower 48 and we're just going from spot to spot and we're in no rush, we don't spend that much money. Like, we spend money on food, a decent amount of money, because we eat pretty healthy, you know. So, and you know all about that. It's not cheap to eat healthy. But other than that, we spend money on our food and gas. But if you're not traveling that much, you're not spending that much, because we have solar on the rig, so that's our power during the day. We charge our electronics, and we have backup batteries that we have 2 6-volt batteries that charge during the day. And I also have this battery box, which is a lithium-ion battery box, which is powering my computer now, and we charge that during the day. So we're not even spending money there on the generator, really, because like the generator, you know, uses gas. So we're literally, when we're parked there and boondocking, if you don't count our food, we're spending like $15 a day, and that's our cell phone, our insurance. Like, that's literally, it's costing us $15 a day to live. And we can work during that day, and whatever income we bring in that day is literally pure profit, because we're not spending anything else. We're not spending money on rent. We're not spending money on anything else. So it's actually
so
really
amazing.
cheap. So going back to what you're saying, if I wasn't building this bus, absolutely we could be living off YouTube. But we're building the bus. So, but that's where the other mobile incomes come in, and the business, and that's how I'm able to stay even and be able to buy my friend his plane ticket and pay him to come out and help me do fabrication.
Right. So, sorry, besides the YouTube channel, you have then also like the Amazon affiliate program, but that's just more like get your subs for free kind of thing.
Absolutely. And then that's small little things.
Yeah. And so what are your other side hustles?
So real estate's one of them. That's actually why I was a little late for this podcast today. I had something come up with that. So a real estate job that I have, it's salary plus commission. I essentially work from 5:30 a.m. to 10, 11-ish. And then on weekends, it's a little bit more considerable, depending on if we have any open houses or any circle prospecting I have to do. So to put it most plainly, it's an ISA position, inside sales agent. And the best way to describe my job is I make the phone calls nobody else wants to make, right? So it's calling for sell by owners, calling expired listings, and withdrawn listings. And my goal is to get an appointment with those people for the brokerage that I work with. And you have to absolutely, number one, be okay with rejection, which I never really had a problem with that. Number two, you have to be able to talk to people. And it's one of those mobile income jobs that's, you know, incredibly unique. But if I couple that with the online business, like the RV or schoolie parts now, as well as the YouTube, then I'm making enough to live, pay off a little bit of travel debt, and build the bus.
Cool. Okay. It's all about that side hustle life.
Oh, it's hustling every day. I wake up at 5:30 every morning, and a half an hour later, I'm making calls. So
wow.
And that's hustling from half an hour after I wake up till midday, and then from there I deviate depending on what's happening with the bus, and also if I have, you know, circle prospecting, which is more into the real estate, where you're essentially just blanket calling everybody in a particular neighborhood to let them know about open houses, to let them know that a property just went up for sale, or, for example, one property I just called yesterday, got a really good lead, is a particular neighborhood that, excuse me, their property values went up 50% in the last 24 months. So we're calling everybody in the neighborhood, like, listen, dude, if we can get you a contract, would you meet with us? And, you know, my numbers are based upon that, how many people I have appointments with.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, I guess last question is that I saw on your YouTube channel you were saying that you think it is wiser to buy an RV from people who have already lived in it, absolutely, as opposed to something that's like lower mileage and just been used kind of as a summer thing.
Absolutely.
So why would you say that? Because it's like my initial thing would be like, I want low mileage, I want low hours on the generator, I want things that are haven't been overused.
Right. So I thought the same thing, and I wish somebody would have told me this before I bought my RV. whenever things sit and they don't become used, they start to break down. And what happened with our rig was the fuel filter was gunked up because they only drove it every so often. It was just kind of the situation where a lot of the components start breaking down if they're not used. And the generator as well, I had to change the fuel pump on the generator and the filter because it was just gas that sat there and wasn't used. So if you just let things sit, they start to break down. And what I found is I would rather have something that's been lived in where somebody knows every single inch of that RV, its strengths, its weaknesses, and things have been used. Because you do have a point with the generator, for example, like if it has more hours on it. But if somebody had that generator, say ours is 2008, it's been sitting for 10 years with 50 miles on it, they never changed the oil, they never changed the fuel filter, you start that thing up, like you don't know what's wrong with it. Where with that generator, I changed the oil every 100 miles with Royal Purple, right? Like that generator was very important to us, and I made sure that it was going to be working good at all times. And again, you might have pros and cons to that as well. But I mean, if we ever get another RV, which I don't know if we're building this, but I would much rather have an RV that somebody's lived in, that they went through the whole thing and took out all the components that didn't work and put in better components. Like the shower head that we have is a low gallon per minute. Did the shower, what's that called? The shower deletes, I guess you can call it. Took all that glass out. And just changed everything that was a weak component and put something in that was better because it's our home,
Cool. Man, all right, I got a ton of information here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, if you ever have any questions, you're looking at any rigs, just let me know. But, I mean, like I said before, it sounds like you have a very intriguing situation going on that you're right at the precipice of being able to use that brand that you already built to really transform that into the mobile income. So a lot of people, they're starting from zero, but you're starting at like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? You start to find innovative ways to transition what you already have into a mobile income. And you just got to kind of sit down and think about what you want to share, what you want to do, because you got an awesome opportunity.
It sometimes gets a little bit overwhelming though, because like my hand is in a lot of cookie jars, and maybe you feel that as well. It's like trying to manage all of those things, and I guess again, this is where it's not easy. It's like it's not a 9 to 5, so you're always like thinking ahead or thinking what cookie jar have I ignored today, basically, and it's definitely more difficult. And like I'm actually thinking about coming out with like my own like products. That I can sell on Amazon and kind of vertically integrate everything. But I mean, again, I'm more on an information gathering journey right now. So
absolutely. No, I mean it's going to be tricky. I mean, what's your biggest cookie you're going after right now?
I mean, I'm still competing, so I still have to be like at the top of my game. So that's always kind of training. Always takes like kind of the precedent. And then after that, I'm basically working. Then I have to maintain sponsorships, make sure everyone's happy. Mm-hmm. So that's like, and I'm always working on new ones. So it's like 3 or 4, companies that I'm trying to work with. Okay. And then, after that, then it's like I'm trying to find out how I can get something manufactured, how I can learn about marketing better and actually monetizing my Instagram following. So it's fun. It's a very exciting time. I'm also like, I'm engaged and we're trying to find an RV. And so it's like, it's a ton. It's so much fun. But yeah, it's a lot. Right.
No, first, definitely soak it up, because right now you're in an amazing situation right now. Like following your dreams, being able to go after all that at one time. Most people just, they just dream about the situation you're in. So definitely soak it up. Number 2, this is just, again, I'm not in your situation. I don't know what's going on with everything you're doing, but I would really concentrate maybe on one sponsor. Maybe one sponsor might get behind this RV thing. They might get behind you in a really big way. Like they sponsor your Instagram. They sponsor the RV. They sponsor every aspect. Instead of having just small sponsors here and there, like maybe go all in on one, like maybe put a proposal out for one of these particular sponsors, be like, hey, this is what we're doing. Are you wanting to be on board with us for the next, like a 2-year contract or something? This is the amount of content we're going to put out. This is the amount of products we'll do for you per year. This is the amount of posts you'll get, and put a little package together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I do have the perfect sponsor for that too. They're all about this kind of thing.
Then there you go.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, get them involved on this whole thing. But like, I don't like. Could I ask them to like help me buy an RV? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like, with that.
Well, what you can do is a monthly stipend. Instead of saying it's necessarily for the RV, like just put that into your contract. Like that'll cover you sponsoring the RV. It'll cover the Instagram, and then at say quarterly or biannually, they have the option. You know, you can build into your contract. Again, I don't know what I'm saying here. This is just something I've experienced a little bit with this, so I'm just trying to, you know, maybe give you a few seeds that might turn into a plant. But maybe just have it that contractual agreement set up, like I said, quarterly or biannually, where you guys get together and see where you want to proceed, because you don't want to get yourself locked in on a 2-year contract and all of a sudden your brand blows up and then you're stuck in this contract. Maybe you want to come back every quarterly or half year where you go back and be like, hey, these are our metrics, these are our numbers, or you can have it built into your contract. If you reach 500,000 followers on Instagram, then it goes up to this pay scale. And if you reach 1 million, then it goes up to this pay scale. You know, when you're putting that contract together, like, I mean, if you don't ask, you won't ever know. I mean, why not put together a little bit of a press kit, a little bit of a, you know, business proposal for them, and see if you can figure out what they're spending in marketing now? Because honestly, if they pay you $800 to $900 a month, that if they're a big company, that's a drop in the bucket, and they can get real organic exposure, and you get your RV payment plus gas money.
Right. It's a very good point. All right. I like it. I like it. Okay. Man, so many good ideas. Thank you so much for talking to me. This is so crazy.
Thanks for taking the time to be on the podcast. So if somebody was wanting to check out anything you're doing, how would they be able to find you on the social sphere?
You can find me on Instagram at Abbott the Red, ABBOTT. I have a website and blog called abbottthered.com. I have a YouTube channel called Abbott the Red, Psychedelic Gypsy Fitness. And what else? I'm on Twitter as well at Abotsky439.
Awesome.
So, and Facebook. Like, I'm everywhere, you know?
Absolutely. And everything will be linked in the description below for people to check out. So if you don't have any other questions, we can wrap this up. But feel free to honestly hit me up anytime if you have any questions at all. And a lot of this is just kind of spitballing. So if anything comes up, definitely let me know.
For sure. Oh, I was also going to ask, like, so what does your girlfriend do? Like,
so she's a health coach. So she's developing her clientele right now. She went to school. She did a year-long program, I believe, and she absolutely loves it. She's developing her brand, but she is I'm trying to get her to stop looking at the likes and worry about the content. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And
that's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, because I tried to explain to her, it's all in the algorithm. Like, they're doing that on purpose so you'll pay money to advertise. That's all they're doing. Like, they'll show it to some people and they won't show it to other people. It's all part of their algorithm. Don't buy into it, but she won't listen. Like, I think she's comparing herself to other people, which is a absolutely terrible thing to do. Never ever do that on your journey. That's just a miserable thing to do.
Well, it's hard because, like, I think, especially, like, for myself, especially, like, on YouTube, you see the quality of other people's videos and like, how far they've come, and you're like, oh, my God. Like, it's overwhelming. But I think, like you said, just like, keep your head down. Like, notice what they do well, but still, you have to be you, because people can totally smell the bullshit.
Absolutely.
You have to be totally authentic. So, yeah, I guess that's a really good piece of advice.
So, you know how I got past that, how I stopped doing that?
What?
I stopped watching other videos.
Ah,
Like,
okay.
I'll watch my friends, you know, because I'm generally intrigued to what they're doing. But when it comes down to somebody that's, you know, doing the same thing I'm doing, like the tiny homes or their RV stuff, and it's not so much that I, like, wish them ill. It's just, like, I just don't, I don't want to compare anything they're doing. Like, I'm honestly happy for them if they're killing it. Like, it's awesome. But I'm not going to come close to even 1% comparing myself with them, so I don't even watch.
Ah. Okay, I really like that because like comparison is the total killer of happiness, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of hard for you because you're competing against other people. I'm sure they're on Instagram too. So
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
You're in a whole different realm than me. But I totally understand the sentiment though.
Yeah, yeah. I had one more question.
It's no
God
rush.
damn it. Yeah.
Was it about the business? Was it about real estate? Was it about YouTube?
Oh, I forget. I'll have to text you later or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, can I post this on my Instagram?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
That'd be awesome. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I don't know if you want to or whatever. I don't know if you found us on Instagram or not, but where it's just Chris _and_G_travels.